Today's social life is really not as easy as we think. The invisible pressures from expectations, the loneliness in a connected society, and the unpredictable challenges always make us feel overwhelmed. But more importantly, we need to realize that we are not alone. Everyone has their own battles, and sharing and connecting with those around us will help us become stronger. Remember, don't let life's challenges make you lose faith in yourself. If you feel that this story resonates with you, don't forget to leave a comment and share your thoughts, because your story could be a source of encouragement for someone who needs it. And if you find these messages helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any upcoming videos. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and remember, no matter how tough life gets, you are never alone. Part 1. Life in society is hard, but you don't know these things. Life today, especially in the modern society, is not as simple as many people might think. We often see the beautiful and successful facades of others through social media, but few are aware of the difficulties and challenges they face behind the scenes. Not everyone realizes this. Those who look from the outside only see the glamour, the spotlight, and the success, forgetting that every step in life can be drenched in sweat, tears, and sometimes even sacrifices. Today, I want to share with you some things that many of us may not truly realize about this life. Part 2. Social pressure, invisible standards. One of the biggest challenges that modern society brings is the invisible standards we unintentionally set for each other. From appearance, finances, career, to social relationships, everything is tied to unspoken expectations. Take a moment to reflect. We are often taught that we must be successful, stand out, and be the best in everything. But have you ever asked yourself, is this really necessary? We live in a society where image is everything. Social media makes it easy for us to see the successes of others, and unintentionally, this creates enormous pressure. We see one person flaunting their new car, another sharing their career achievements, and every time we scroll through Facebook or Instagram, feelings of insecurity rise. In reality, most of what we see is just the tip of the iceberg. Lives that seem perfect often hide difficulties that only those living them truly understand. Beautiful photos, congratulatory messages about success, all of it is just a small part of the story. In modern society, we not only face personal challenges, but also the invisible expectations that we, or even society, have created. These standards, though unspoken, are incredibly powerful and shape how we perceive ourselves and those around us. From owning luxury items, achieving career milestones, to maintaining a perfect image on social media, these are all unspoken demands that we unintentionally feel obliged to meet. Since childhood, we've been taught to always strive for success. Success is not only about reaching goals, but also about showcasing one's value. The bright students are praised, while those with lower achievements face disappointment and sometimes even criticism. And as we grow older, we carry these expectations with us in every step. Career, money, fame, these are all measures of a person's success. We can't deny that society is increasingly focused on outward appearances, especially on social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. These spaces have become places for people to flaunt their most successful moments, colorful lives, extravagant trips, and expensive gifts. Meanwhile, we, those who follow, only see these moments without witnessing the sweat, tears, and sometimes the inner struggles they face. This creates a profound sense of insecurity. We begin comparing ourselves to others, feeling inadequate because we don't have the things they do. Every time we scroll past beautiful photos, posts about success, we ask ourselves, why can't I do that? But have any of us ever stopped to ask, is what we see on social media the full truth? Could it be that these are just the brightest parts of their lives, while they hide their weaknesses and struggles behind the scenes. Life on social media, although beautiful, is just a very small part of a longer story. And comparing ourselves to these snippets only makes us feel more insecure. Because real life, behind the beautiful photos and flaunted success, still involves tough days, moments of failure, and vulnerable times that everyone has to go through. So, are the invisible standards we set really necessary? Are we focusing too much on external things and forgetting that the true value of each person is not in what they have, but in what they are doing to become the best version of themselves? Part 3. Loneliness in a Connected Society. Today, we live in a society where connecting with others has never been easier. With just a phone and a click, you can chat with hundreds, even thousands of people around the world. This leads us to believe that society is becoming more and more connected, and loneliness will eventually disappear. However, the reality is not quite like that. On the contrary, in a society where everyone is online, we feel lonelier than ever. Social media has allowed us to communicate quickly and easily, but it lacks deep connections. We can post a status, share images, or even send messages to friends and family in an instant, but that doesn't mean we truly understand each other. A like, a short comment, can make us feel connected, but it's only the surface of a relationship, not real sharing. This loneliness doesn't only affect those who live alone, but also those who, even in the midst of a crowd, feel lost and misunderstood. A person can have thousands of friends on social media, but how many of them truly care about their feelings or the struggles they are going through? How many are willing to listen when they are vulnerable? We may have many relationships, but are they deep enough to make us feel not alone at heart? Loneliness doesn't come from a lack of people around us, but from a lack of real connections. Genuine relationships where each person can openly share their thoughts, feelings, and struggles without fear of being judged. We easily get caught up in the busy pace of life, in managing relationships online, forgetting that sometimes what we need most is a real conversation, genuine care from someone who can understand us. In reality, true connection isn't about how many friends you have on social media, but whether you have someone truly by your side, ready to share and help you through tough times. Loneliness appears when we can't find anyone who truly understands us, even if we connect with millions. So, in a society that is increasingly connected, why do we feel so lonely? Could it be that we have been too focused on surface-level connections, forgetting the value of genuine relationships? What can we do to change this? The answer lies in finding real relationships, where we are not just connected but also understood. Part 4. Life is full of unpredictable challenges. Life is not just about beautiful moments and the successes we desire. Behind every smile and every victory, there are unpredictable challenges. In reality, each day we face one or more difficulties, from work, relationships, health, and even unexpected events that we can't prepare for. These challenges sometimes make us feel like we are being swept away by a current that we can't control. Everyone thinks that if they work hard and study meticulously, success will come. But the reality is not always like that. We've seen many stories of people who persevered and gave their best, yet still had to face failure. A great job opportunity slips away, despite being well prepared. A promising project, after investing so much effort, ends up not being completed as expected. A loved one suddenly leaves, leaving an indescribable pain. When these events happen, we feel overwhelmed, unsure of what to do, unsure whether to keep going or to give up. That's when our faith and hope are shaken to the core. We begin to ask ourselves whether we are strong enough to overcome it, whether we can rise again and keep moving forward, or if we will be buried beneath the weight of disappointment and suffering. Life is sometimes like this. Not everything goes according to plan. Sometimes, no matter how much we prepare, no matter how well we do everything, there are external factors that we cannot control. A mistake at work, a misunderstanding in relationships, or even a change in health. All these can happen without warning, and they are the biggest challenges each of us must face. What's important is that we learn to face these challenges, to accept that life is not always fair, and not everything will go smoothly. More importantly, we must learn how to get back up after falling. Because life is not just about moments of success, but about the ability to overcome failure. That is the key to finding true meaning in life. So, when facing challenges, what should we do? Perhaps the best approach is not to let those failures or difficulties define us. Let's learn to stand strong, be resilient, and never give up, no matter how hard life gets. Because sometimes these challenges are actually opportunities for us to grow and become stronger. Part 5. Mental health, an issue that is becoming increasingly overlooked. When it comes to social life, one extremely important factor that is often overlooked is mental health. We all know that when our body is sick, we seek treatment, whether it's visiting a doctor, taking medication, or resting to recover. However, when our mental state is harmed, we tend to remain silent, endure it on our own, and keep moving forward without seeking help. This makes mental health an issue that many of us don't truly pay attention to, even though it profoundly affects each of our lives. In modern society, where life moves quickly and is busy, many people are struggling with relentless pressures. Work is increasingly stressful, and demands from family, friends, or society make us push ourselves to complete every task. When these issues accumulate, they can lead to burnout, chronic stress, and even depression. However, instead of recognizing that mental health is just as important as physical health, many people choose to remain silent and keep trying. They don't dare admit they're facing problems, nor do they dare share with others. Why do we do this? Part of the reason is that society still doesn't truly view mental health as a serious issue. We may still see psychological struggles as a sign of weakness, an indication that we aren't strong enough to face life. The question is, why don't we allow ourselves to be vulnerable sometimes? Why not admit that sometimes we need help or space to heal? Mental health doesn't only affect us, it also impacts our relationships with others. When our mental state is unstable, we become irritable, feel lonely, and lose connection with those around us. Friendships and family relationships can gradually fade because we no longer have the energy to nurture them. And this only deepens the feelings of loneliness and emptiness. Many people still believe they can overcome everything on their own without the help of others. But in reality, recognizing and admitting that we need support is not weakness. It's an act of courage. Mental health also needs to be cared for and treated like any other illness. Sometimes, all it takes is a conversation with a loved one or support from a mental health professional to help us regain balance in life. We must learn to take care of not only our bodies, but also our minds. Don't let worries and stress build up to the point where they become uncontrollable. Don't let silence cause you to sink deeper into loneliness. Take time to listen to yourself, to recognize when you need rest, to share, and when you need help. Life is a long journey, and to travel through it healthily, we can not only care for our bodies, but also for our souls. Mental health is not something to be ignored. It is the key factor that helps us live a complete, happy, and fulfilling life. Part 6. How to face and overcome challenges in society. So, how can we face the challenges of life in today's society? How can we find peace in a world that is constantly in motion? The answer is not simple because each person faces their own difficulties and different problems. However, there is one thing for sure. To overcome these challenges, we need to learn how to accept ourselves and understand that life is not perfect and it doesn't need to be. We live in a world where everything seems to have to be the best. Success, careers, appearance, relationships, everything must be perfect in order to gain social recognition. This unintentionally creates enormous pressure on each person, making them feel they must always appear strong, achieve every goal, and not be allowed to fail. But the reality is that life does not always go according to the plan we hope for. There are days when you will feel tired, feel stuck, and sometimes you will fail. These moments are not the end, they are opportunities for us to learn and grow. The first step to overcoming challenges is learning to accept imperfection. We cannot control everything, and life will not always go the way we want. Instead of trying to control everything, learn to let go and accept that not everything will happen as we wish. When we learn to accept failures and difficulties, we will more easily overcome them and find new opportunities. The next important thing is understanding that no one can succeed alone. Everyone needs support from those around them, whether it's family, friends, or colleagues. Don't hesitate to seek help when you feel that you cannot overcome a challenge by yourself. Sometimes, a simple conversation or advice from others can help you find a new direction. Additionally, in this pressure-filled social life, we also need to keep a space for ourselves to recharge and regain balance. Sometimes, just taking some time to relax, do things you enjoy, or simply rest will help you regain the mental strength to continue facing difficulties. Finally, remember that challenges are not what make us weaker, but they help us become stronger. It is the falls and failures that give us the opportunity to learn, grow, and develop. Don't let difficulties discourage you. Instead, see them as stepping stones that bring you closer to true success. So, when facing challenges, learn to love yourself, accept that life is not perfect, and that everything can change. Always remember, you are not alone on this journey. We can all overcome it as long as we know how to approach life with a positive attitude and are always ready to learn from the challenges life brings. Social life, with all its challenges and pressures, is always a journey full of difficulties. But it is in these hardships that we find our hidden strength, valuable lessons, and sometimes great opportunities. No one says that life will be easy or perfect, but that is the beauty of it. We can learn from every step, every stumble, and every time we rise again. Remember, you don't need to have all the answers right away. Life is an ongoing process, and we will learn how to face it day by day, hour by hour. The important thing is that we must learn to love ourselves, accept imperfection, and find peace within ourselves, rather than racing to meet the invisible expectations of society. Face challenges with a courageous heart and a strong soul. Finally, always remember that you are not alone on this journey. We face challenges together, seek balance and happiness together in an imperfect world. It is resilience, self-belief, and love that will be the source of strength to help you overcome every difficulty. Share your story, your thoughts, and feelings that you are facing. We can always learn from one another, and if you find this story helpful, don't hesitate to subscribe to the channel and leave comments under this video. Together, we can build a strong community ready to face any challenge in life.